Hey guys, welcome to my video, my daily seed sowing out stuff video. I want to upload my the daily special that I did in the stream. For now, I want to film it in a video. I just have all this cactus seed work that we started, and I don't want to just waste it because it's great for the hobby. Because it is an interesting thing to do. You are basically just sprinkling seeds on top of the soil, and life just happens in front of your eyes. You can see it grow over the winter while everything outdoors is terrible and cold and lifeless. So I love that part. I love that part of the hobby where you can just stay indoors over winter, and over the course of multiple months you can see something grow in front of your eyes, and that is something that I want to keep on the channel. In the previous videos I discussed that we are sowing chilies and kiwis, and I have a few kiwi seeds that I want to get started on the channel, and some other stuff. We're really doing something like a little bit more wider over winter. I love sowing out, and it's a fun hobby where you can get different kind of seeds that need different kinds of treatments, and kind of just learn all the important things you need to learn to do it successfully, because it's sometimes not so easy, or it is easy to induce the germination, but you are running into problems later on. And yeah, that's why why I love this hobby. I wanted to have a place on my channel. And yeah, whether we are doing it in a stream or in a video, it's really not so important. I will get back to streaming, probably more from outdoors, where there's less risk of auto moderator problems that can always happen. Yeah, outdoors work, cleaning the greenhouses. The windows of the greenhouses look green from the algae. I'm not sure how it's spelled. You guys need to tell me that one day. But the greenhouse windows are green, and that needs to be scrubbed off. I could stream that. Yeah, and I will do more of that in the future. Until then, check out my Christmas decoration here that I got from my mom. Otherwise, I would not have gotten something. I'm just not the kind of it was a terrible year. Just yesterday, I sorted out my Christmas ornaments. I gave the whole box to my wife, and it just felt weird. It was like I was giving away Christmas. But yeah, I'm just not. It's not something that I celebrate this year. It was such a bad year. I'm just glad that it's over soon. I'm looking forward to being in March, when I can start outdoors again, really, with the cacti. I hate the winter. Winter is not for me. One day I will live in a warm country, a nice place by the ocean, something like that. And winter temperatures never below, I don't know, 10 Celsius, 10, 15. That's the lowest I'm willing to go if I ever move to another country. The winter. But then again, the way I know myself, I would sit there somewhere at a beach in this December and be sad because I'm missing the winter, like snow in winter or something like that, because that can also be great sometimes. I often took Snoopy for a walk in snow when the snow was beautiful everywhere, walking through the snow. is a nice thing that I really enjoy doing it with Snoopy. And since Mika's here, it rarely snowed like that. In the last years, it has become less and less time where there's actual snow, tall snow, like where you sink in. So yeah, I haven't had that kind of thing with Mika yet on a bigger scale, maybe once or twice. But with Snoopy, I did it all winter. Yeah, so these are looking great. Checking the seedlings here. Everything healthy. In here, it's a little bit too cold. The heater was out overnight. I mean, I put up one little cold thing, but it didn't hold the heat. Okay, let's see. Looking good. Some with spines, some relatively young, and I mean, I think they came up at the same time, but there's a big difference in size. That could mean that the ones that are behind have some sort of genetic mutation. Being crested could be a thing, or sometimes monstrous growth, like that sort of just spineless, interesting kind of stuff. Very often they grow a little bit slower than the normal ones, but it can also mean that some seedlings just have more energy than others. Looking great. Also happy with them. Uwe hybrid cross. Yeah, but they are looking okay. There's one seedling that has lost touch with the ground. And that one looks a little bit, not sick, but a little bit stressed, definitely. Like you could lose it eventually. Has a minor discoloration. And I really need to keep an eye on that. Maybe I should take the seedling out already. But I don't want to... I want to give it a chance. But that can be risky. It can mean that if you get an infection in that container, it will be like a hotspot that can get out of control very fast. Okay, so here one fungus gnat. By the way, I had just had a phone call with DHL. They have brought my soil to the post office, and I called them and told them, hey guys, that I can't pick it up. That's a huge package. I have problems with the muscle stuff after the Lyme disease, and I wouldn't be able to pick it up like by hand, like without the car. So now they are bringing it a second time, and I appreciated that. No long discussion, but while I was on the phone, like in the beginning, I was trying to write an email, but there were no ways. You just had to go through a chat bot, and I really hate the feeling of like having to talk with a robot, because very often you already know that they will not help you. That whatever kind of help that kind of thing is able to give you is limited. So I was already getting frustrated on the phone, like being and then this thing was talking and talking and always longer sentences. It wouldn't even stop. So I just kept repeating the word customer service, something like that, help, help. I even said help a few times and nothing happened. It just kept on going, talking and talking and talking. And at some point, I don't know what set it off, but at some point it was giving, like, it was given the command to move me to an actual person, and I was so thankful. I was so happy. What happened? What happened to the world? Like, when did all that happen? They don't even have a phone number anymore that you can call. Like, you have to look for it somewhere on the internet, and very often they want to kind of hide it. Not really hide it, but hide it in a way that it confuses you so much that you do not want to invest all the time. I'm really kind of, I don't know, I've become a very conservative person in that regard, in regards to the way new tech is used currently. Like, I see a lot of problems with new tech. I see a lot of justified criticism, things we could change, ways we could improve it. Because at some point, the way we consume kind of all kinds of media has to change again. Like, getting back to actually solving problems. And right now, I'm not seeing it. I see a lot of new tech that is blown up as the next big thing. I still remember NFTs, and now they're talking about other stuff. Like AI. Every time I read about things that they want to change, I've become a lot more like, when I was younger, I was more open, not seeing the risks that are associated with certain things that we do, like, as a society. And today, as I'm older, I see more of those problems, and kind of want to often remind these companies that they also have to have, that they kind of have a depth, to society, because they were given so many chances through the way, like, to be successful, like, by being able to, like, be in that Silicon Valley kind of bubble. It allowed them to become successful. It allowed them to become what they are today. All the big companies, I just feel like, because of that, it's important to protect the whole ecosystem, the internet. My opinion, it's some sort of investment into the future. So yeah, these are looking great. Hybrids from a cross of mine. I've thrown out so much stuff by Uwe Kahle. Okay. Yeah, looking great so far. Part of the fungus gnat here and there. Seedlings are looking great, healthy. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks old, not very old. Okay. I will move these away and bring a few more newer ones that I haven't checked. This is really a lot of work. Okay, I want to get a few more. By the way, it's cold. Oven is out right now. I just didn't have enough time earlier. Because it's so much work to get it started. So that will come later. Okay. Humkes Roro is this kind of cross here. Hilde Winterer Hybrid Nolla 2, Nolla 2 by breeder Nolla, who, you know, doesn't like, the name is very similar to mine, and it's because we are from similar place. So yeah, but a Hilde Winterer multi-hybrid with Echinopsis, and you can see that the seedlings are kind of healthy. Interesting, some of them variegated, some not. But for now they are healthy. Definitely possible that they are not able to produce chlorophyll. But we'll see. That will be decided. That remains to be decided. Okay. Christmas decoration here. I don't really think it's bad, you know, like it's okay. It's a nice touch to the channel. I still have a pumpkin here, but now I see it has gotten like a little moldy. I thought that this kind of a pumpkin would hold forever, so I gotta remove it later. Maybe try getting out the seeds so we can grow them. Haven't grown pumpkin before, like successfully. I know we had it when we just threw the seeds on the compost. Then, of course, it worked reliably every year. But when I've tried to grow them, I don't recall that ever being something that worked for me. I don't even recall if I did it, probably, but I'm not sure. So we will try that out maybe. Getting the next pumpkin for next year. So these are Bamboy. Really interesting cross. Bamboy with something else. I mean, no matter what you use there, that is great. Okay, next one. Everything looking great. Check out the little seedlings that we have grown here on the channel. We have created life. Special thing, always. And yeah, later I will clean seeds. I will probably film it too. So it will basically be like the stream. Really nice and healthy looking seedlings. Very spiny. Some of them have a reddish tip. And I've talked about the reddish discoloration before. It's basically a sign of stress. Not really always meaning that the plant gets too much sun, but very often that's the case. I mean, in the majority of cases, when you have a red discoloration on a seedling, it's a reaction to too much light, too much sun, too much heat, not enough water in combination with heat. But sometimes they can also kind of react to whatever lamp you are using. For example, if you're using one with a high part of red light, they can take in that kind of light and show it in the body. That is how a lot of these famous cultivars that are sold online, where they try to make it look that like a plant has a red kind of skin, red body, but they are only grown under a red light lamp. And yeah, that is something. The moment you stop putting them under that kind of lamp, the skin color will revert to normal. So you haven't really a plant with a stable trait that does it. It's just a reaction to whatever lamp you are using, and the moment the people who bought these plants, when they put them into their collection, put them in normal sunlight or whatever, the reddish discoloration goes away. But a lot of people don't know. Okay, so yeah, here a lot of seedlings, healthy seedlings, Uwe Kahle hybrid. Also very nice. Couldn't see a fungus gnat. That's the way I like it. Maybe doing an hour in this video, and maybe doing another hour at a later point. So here's a tiny seedling that fell over. These tiny seedlings often don't have a lot of life in them, but of course it gets more difficult when you start to when they don't have contact with the ground. You know, they need that in order to take in the nutrients. If they are not in touch with the ground, not able to take in water and nutrients, then of course they are not making it, you know. So very often these tiny seedlings that are not fully developed, they come up and they kind of lie sideways in a way. Very unusual kind of thing, but I really believe they don't have the kind of energy to pull themselves up like you see from bigger seedlings. They are already they came up, they germinated, but barely, and the energy is not enough to have a healthy normal development. Okay, so here Uwe Kahle hybrid, Sopola, sounds great. We'll see what will come from it. We have so many amazing Uwe Kahle seeds. I gotta send a message to Uwe to say thank you again. He's a great guy, good friend of mine. Hope he's all right. I don't really write a lot at the moment because my life's a mess, but I hope he's all right. So yeah, here is a container full of seedlings with a piece of wood. That piece of wood there, it's been in it since the beginning, like just sticking out the soil, and it's really firm. So I'm worried that if I pull it out, I might kind of rip out the seedlings out of the soil. So I'm leaving it in until now, like for now. We'll see how it goes. But I don't think that it will cause a problem. They are in a very organic medium, and yeah, that is enough. Okay, so here's something that could be like a fungal infection. I really want to remove that. Just a tiny spot at the corner of the container here, where I had seen that it was like a spider web on the soil, and yeah, good that I removed it. That is why you need to keep a close eye on everything, on all the seedlings. One tiny infection, everything can go great, but one tiny infection and you lose the whole container. I've seen that happening, and it's always a bad feeling again. Later I will start up the oven, the wood oven. I want to get the house warm and cozy. Okay, they are looking great too, and some mutated seedlings in there. I definitely see all kinds of different body types already. This is a good cross. I'm very happy about these seeds here. This is very early in the development cycle of the seedlings, and around that time they start showing traits of, like, when they are crested, or when you have a somewhat variegated seedling. Around this age, it only starts showing, and long term, it gets more and more visible later on. Sometimes it takes forever for the seedlings to grow, like mutated, to have that mutated grow that they normally develop. When growing from seeds in the first year, you just can't see much about the important traits of a plant. It becomes, for one, in the body, I mean, an interesting kind of plant body, it becomes only visible later in the development, like years in the development. So in the first kind of year, can't really tell much from that. But yeah, these are looking great. Here's a little piece, like a little bit of grass that I'm taking out. I don't want to have any kind of excessive greenery in there. And it would probably not be a huge thing. But I still don't like it. Okay. So now let me check these here. In this one there are two seedlings, probably Lobevia. This is Cerensia something. Yeah. Everything we're showing here, all the plants, all completely like harmless kind of plant hybrid stuff with amazing flowers. Even the crosses that have botanical species, I tried making a cross to get a good flower. It's just my priority. Yeah, looking good. Maybe 2-3 weeks old, not very old yet, but looking nice. This is Lobevia hybrid. A lot of seedlings in here. Closing it up again. I don't want to change anything. They are so sensitive. They are so fragile. Can be a problem to do too much. Okay. These are very young. Maybe 10 days, 14 days. But everything good so far. No infections. Nothing that requires me to do something. Okay, so here looking great. Seedlings are pretty big, some of them, and others are delayed. Some of them have the tiny seed husk at the still stuck on the tip, and I always remove that, or at least when it's really necessary. In most cases, you don't need it, but I've seen it causing an infection when you have the remnant of the seed corn, and it just sticks to the tip of the seedling, and if that doesn't really get loose, it can just take the whole seedling down. Okay. Everything looking good here. In here, a lot of seedlings. Also fungus gnat, and I saw it because I kind of felt like some of the seedlings don't look so good. I really won't miss these guys with the classic soil, classic sowing soil. I think we will get rid of them by doing that, by using that in the future. Okay. Yeah, looking good. 1 or 2, or maybe even 6, 7 are delayed, taking a little bit longer, like I did. I wasn't like the smartest kid in school, so I took an extra time every now and then. Okay, yeah, let me move these away, and then I will get more, and I will check these too. Oh, come on. Okay. I also want to check on the seedlings where we have induced germination. Yesterday the oven was so hot that it must have induced germination in a whole lot of them. Someone gifted me a certain kind of wood, a heating piece of wood kind of stuff, like a pressed wood that I can put into the oven, and it just produces an absolute crazy amount of heat. I'm not sure why, like why they are so hot, but it's excessive. Okay. I think this is enough. The others I will move later. But yeah, let me have a look at the seedlings that we've sown out recently. Maybe there are a few that are coming up. Not really. Here's one seedling. Still needs a little bit more time. Oh, I really don't like being patient. Okay. Healthy seedlings in this one. One seedling has fallen over. There was like a little block of soil that kind of led to it losing balance. So I tried to get it back into the soil again, just carefully with a piece of wood, moving it around, and always careful about the root system, because they have tiny roots that can just be damaged easily with everything you do. I don't think you can handle them without risking to cause damage on a seedling. But in many cases they are pretty hardy. And later I will clean seeds, okay? Later during the day probably. I want to get rid of the seeds. I want to have them out of the way. Yeah, looking good. Looking a little bit reddish at the tip. Lobivia hybrid from a Dessau cross. Dessau being one of the, like a Hartmut Kellner hybrid, involving what is now Echinopsis obrepanda, but not only. I don't recall what it involves. Gräsers Überraschung, something like that. I'm not sure. But the botanical species that is involved is Echinopsis Calliantolilacina, I guess. That is the name, I believe. If I have it right. And that one is the dominant body in Dessau, in my opinion. Like, just from looking at all the parents, that one is the one where it makes sense, you know? So, I like Dessau. But I also grew a lot of offspring of it that was very much like the mother itself, like Dessau itself, very similar. The same things that apply to Wörlitz and its dominance in regards to crosses. The same things apply to Dessau too. Okay. Wörlitz involves Dessau. It's an ancestor of it in some form. Okay. In this one, a lot of very small seedlings, just maybe 2 weeks old, and one of them had to be transplanted, kind of rolled over a little bit. That happens when you handle them, you know. You grab something and a little bit of pressure left and right, and you have movement in the container. So you sometimes have to undo the damage you did by handling them. So just transplanting them, making sure that the seedling has contact with soil, because that's how they take in the nutrients. And if that's not there, then the seedling will probably not make it. Here's one that needs to be taken out. This one has fungus gnats, and you can see here, it feels like they have munched away the roots of the seedling. Okay. I'm not sure if it doesn't show in the video, but the seedling doesn't have a normal root anymore. That is bad. Fungus gnats, just sometimes they aren't a huge thing that makes it impossible to grow seedlings, but they make it so much harder. You have more seedlings that you suddenly lose, that are suddenly gone, and you didn't see it coming. That's the kind of stuff that happens with fungus gnats. What's this? Mamacita hybrid. Yeah. Hilde Winterer hybrid, Mamacita, and Hilde Winterer is wrong. It's an Acacia hybrid. Acacia, Rosei Flora hybrid, Otto Schulz, crossed with some sort of Echinopsis, and I'm not sure which one. I forgot which one. Might even be one by Bob Schick. I'm not sure, but some sort of Echinopsis. And that is my experience too, that when you are making cross with, let's say, Hildewinterer or Acacia, you might have amazing results just using the most simplest kind of hybrid, or even a botanical plant. There are many cases when you wouldn't really expect such great offspring just from a pretty boring kind of father, maybe even a white flowering botanical species, that just, where you wouldn't really believe that the next generation would kind of be improved through that. But the combination of Hildewinterer and Echinopsis sometimes works great, or the combination between Acacia and Echinopsis. It's just out of all the possibilities, that is one of the best that I see. So every now and then, just do a cross that is, that where you just think it's standard, but you can never really fully translate everything into like in theory. Every now and then stuff happens that you didn't see coming, where two rather boring plants, if seen separately, could produce an amazing offspring, like something that is better than both of the parents. And that can happen, every now and then. So just do crosses. I don't know. There's never really a bad cross if after you did it and you see what came from it, you learned something from it. Even if the cross had a kind of like disappointing offspring, the flower's disappointing, or whatever you want to like breed for is disappointing, then you can still learn something from it. You can see what kind of you know more about the plants you are breeding with, and that tells you a little bit more about things where you feel like you can push it by remembering that one time 10 years ago, Mamacita produced some really nice offspring with Echinopsis. And like just looking at every cross that you did and whether or not it succeeded, and that already tells you something. So yeah, these here are looking great. Super healthy seedlings. I'm a fan of them. Uwe Kahle hybrid cross, and they are just looking great. Healthy body. They are coming up so massively, like as big seedlings. Could be Gräser hybrids. I find the Gräser hybrid body always very massive and also interesting. They turn into huge plants. Okay. What's this? This is one of mine. Looking great. Healthy seedlings. None of them have a stressed look. Everything looking great in the soil that I've been using. I'm very happy with that outcome. We can be proud of ourselves. If you have been sowing out with me, like simultaneously, I want to congratulate you. Great work. We're doing it. We're growing something. We're creating life. In 20 years from now, people will look at the photos of the stuff that we're growing now when they are flowering, or maybe when they are huge, planted out and huge. So we are kind of creating our own future. Okay. Something's looking weird here. There's one seedling. Oh, it's gone. Needs to be removed. See? One seedling that would have otherwise spiraled into the container. Putting this into the trash later, moving it away. Okay, here's more. It's also one. Oh man. We're starting to get the first kind of problems. Here's another seedling that is gone. I believe this could have been the heat. Like I said, it was incredibly hot yesterday. The oven I put one of these things in and it just went like there was fuel in it. And it's just a classic product like these pressed wood kind of things, but it heated up so fast that it might have been too much for the seedlings. For some of the seedlings, not all, but some. Got to be really careful with that because when you have them in a closed container, you cannot do something. You cannot act. Yeah, and this one here has a fungal infection at the base, also gone. Nothing to save it. We'll see how it goes, but this isn't good. This is really not good. Here's another one that I'm taking out proactively to make sure that I'm not getting an infection that takes over the whole container. The zip lock mechanism in these kind of bags here doesn't really work anymore, reliably at least not. So I gotta keep an eye on that because it allows not mealybugs, but fungus gnats to get in. And that is something that would even make the situation worse that we have there. Okay. Yeah, everything looking great in here. Okay, I brought me something to eat and drink. So now this container here, seeing a lot of problems with fungus gnats and also a lot of problems with seedlings that aren't really solid on the ground, anchored anymore. And that, in my opinion, is probably because of the fungus gnats. They attack the roots. That is a bad situation. I don't think they can be saved, but I would try it. I would transplant them in order to maybe give them a chance, but it's very unlikely. When they are already lying around on the ground, then there's something usually wrong with them. Of course it can happen that they fall over, but this looks more like that something started rotting at the base. So we're doing a little cleanup here. I do not want to have seedlings that are not in the ground, not really fully anchored and able to take in nutrients. And it's really difficult here because everything's so close together. You touch one and it falls over. Okay. But this doesn't look good. This is going to be a problem. I can already see it. So I need to take out a seedling here. That doesn't make it. And a lot more that are endangered here, at the risk of something being wrong with the roots. Very often they just eat the roots, and that leaves the seedling without a way to take in nutrients. And also the micro injuries that you have at the base, I take this one out too. The micro injuries will eventually, in a closed container, in a closed bag, will cause an infection. Okay. In this one, everything looking good. Healthy seedlings. Maybe 2 weeks between the two different kind of sizes. Lubivia winteriana. Seedlings are often big. And these here, some of them have spines, some do not, but no fungus gnats. So yeah, it's becoming a trend that everywhere where there are no fungus gnats, the seedlings are growing healthily, and everywhere they could get in, there's a problem. Oh yeah, here fungus gnat. I love it. I mean, there would be ways to treat them now, but I really want to see if we can do it without. In most cases, it isn't so bad, but in that one container, they had really taken out a bunch of good seedlings, so we got to see how it goes. We might have to transplant some of them if things get, if worse gets to worse, but maybe we can do it without. Okay, so last one here. Gräsers Erfolg Selbstbestäubung Cross. Healthy seedlings. I knocked one over just now with the label, but apart from that, they look great. Okay, no fungus gnats, so I'm closing it up fast again. Okay, yeah, these will go under the lamp again. Maybe I will bring a few more so we can check them. I want to do maybe 5-10 minutes more. So we'll check a few. Okay. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments and I'm happy to help. It's what we have been doing with the stream also. So just write the comments down if you want to hear my opinion about something. Happy to help. Okay. Yeah, I don't like what I'm seeing in center. Looks like there could be a problem with fungus gnats. I'm taking one of them out, one of the seedlings. It does have a damaged root system. And I can already see a discoloration at the base of the seedling. And when you have a discoloration already, nothing will save it. I doubt it. I mean, you can have luck, just luck, that an infection runs out of steam. by itself. But in a closed container, that is highly unlikely. Happens rarely. Okay. Let me see what that is. Uwe hybrid. Okay. Yeah, and later today, I might film another video just cleaning seeds, cleaning cactus seeds. Cerenzia, Echinopsis, Lobivia. Interesting kind of hybrid crosses that deserve to be shown on the channel. You can see the kind of stuff that we grow in the other videos. A lot of cool flowers. If you like flowers, I'm sure we will grow something nice that you will like here. Might take a while. I'm sure we will have to spend maybe 5-7 years. But when it works, it will be magic. Okay, yeah, this one here, the soil was too loose, so I always have all over the container, there's different kinds of height of the soil level, because the soil was so kind of puffy that it didn't compact enough, and that sometimes can be a problem for seedlings. So I'm just pushing it down a little bit, compacting it again, maybe with the eraser part of the pencil that I'm using, just so that the seedlings are higher, are at a higher level than the soil. You know, the seedlings need to stand out. They need to be able to get light. And if they don't get light because they are overshadowed by whatever the soil is or something in the bag, then it gets difficult. They need light. So I compacted everything, repositioned a few seedlings, but now I can put it under the lamp again. And the kind of plant lamp doesn't matter. Just get whatever you can afford. There are great ones and there are not so great ones. It's important that whatever light you use has the full spectrum that sunlight would have. And that already helps to have healthy seedlings. These are looking great. A few of them have a little discoloration, but that doesn't scare me much. No fungus gnat, which is awesome. Okay. Yeah, in this one, a fungus gnat. I don't like it. I don't like you, fungus gnat. Yeah, but apart from that, the seedlings are looking normal. Gotta clean a little bit up everything here. So there are no, like, when you see that if somewhere is an infection, you need to be able to keep the spread low. It shouldn't take over the whole container. So in order to get that, I clean everything up. If you have too much organic material that's just lying around in the container, then it can start a fungal infection or something like that. Okay. Last one. I don't like that at all. This is not good. I mean, some seedlings are looking okay-ish, but I can already see that at the base of two, there's that kind of transparent kind of thing that I do not like to see, because it can mean that something has already started taking bites out of the roots. But I'm not seeing a fungus gnat right now. So we'll see. Maybe it will recover. Yeah, this is a cross with Angelo. hybrid that that I lost. So it would be great to get a few seedlings from that kind of hybrid. Would be nice. Okay, yeah, I think this is enough for today. 1 hour of seedling stuff. There will be more coming soon, but for now, this will have to be it. This has to be it. This will have to be enough. Later today, I would start cleaning the seeds, but I want to split that up into another video. And yeah, then we'll do that later. Maybe a little bit of like where we discuss plans and how we can improve the care. Some stuff like that is on my plan over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for participating. The stream will probably be back sometime soon, but at this point, yeah, I want to be a little bit more in control of the kind of video that I record, so I know that, you know, when you have a lot of comments that are coming in, you can't always guarantee that it doesn't get too chaotic, and I don't like that. So yeah, thank you for being here. More videos coming soon. I might do the same tomorrow again, where we're continuing with the remaining seedlings. So we'll see. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.